Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Sports 2.0 show, the All-Star Game edition of the Sports 2.0 show. I'm your host, Rodney Knuppel. I've got Mr. Grant Mitchell. Good afternoon, Grant, and happy All-Star Game Day.
Yeah, one of the best days of the sporting year. I'm fired up.
And Mitchell Martin's joining me as well. Mitchell, I know you're a Blue Jays guy, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your expectations for the Blue Jays players tonight in the All-Star Game?
I'm not expecting too much out of the first year guys, just because they haven't been there and done this, and it's probably a different experience for them. But I think Busse could be the MVP dark horse. Might come in, hit a bomb. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Grant, let's hear it. Starting pitcher tonight is Shohei Ohtani. I know there's been a lot of talk about Ohtani and whether he should be starting or not. He threw last night. What's our expectations of Ohtani tonight? I mean, he's just going to go one inning, right?
So we were talking about this on Parlay Power Hour early this morning, myself, Tanner Kern, and Will Reed. I had posed the question, if Ohtani's got a no-no after a couple innings, do they let him go for three? I don't think they let him go past a maximum of three. But if he's throwing a no-no, he's supposed to be the face of baseball in the future, maybe even the face of baseball right now. So I'd imagine they'd at least try to let him retire the whole order. But beyond that, if he gives up a hit, if he gives up a home run, much less in the first inning, one inning, he's got to be out of there.
Yeah. Mitchell, you got thoughts on Ohtani tonight?
Yeah, I can see him going one inning just because he's hitting as well. So, I mean, I can't imagine LA would want him out there for too long, just considering the chances that he could pitch into an injury after 3 innings or something. But I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, and obviously he's facing the National League lineup. Let's go over the lineup real quick. So tonight's we'll start with the American League because the game is in Colorado. The American League lineup, and as we give these guys, I just want you guys to give your thoughts. Obviously, most of the starters are well-deserving, but maybe there's a guy or two on these rosters that you don't quite agree with. Maybe there's a snub along the way. After I'm done with the American League, let's break down the American League real quick. So Shohei Ohtani is going to lead off and be the designated hitter. Your boy, Mitchell, Vlad Guerrero Jr., the first baseman, will bat second. Xander Bogaerts at short, batting third. Aaron Judge, right field, cleaning up. Rafael Devers at third, batting fifth. Marcus Semien, another Blue Jay. You've got 3 starters on this team. That's impressive. Playing second base, batting sixth. Salvador Perez. I feel bad for Salvador Perez. He hit bombs after bombs and just got overlooked last night. And then Hernandez in left field batting eighth, and Cedric Mullins center field batting ninth. Grant, why don't you go first? American League lineup. Would you change anything? Would you add anybody? Would you subtract anybody?
I don't want to be too politically correct here, but I actually like the American League lineup. I thought it's interesting. You touched on it. The Blue Jays have 3 starters. They're the most well-represented team in baseball in the starting lineups.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'd think of that when you sit down, you go, okay, who are the best teams in baseball? Who are the best players in baseball? But I think all 3 of those guys are deserving. I like the Blue Jays Red Sox split in the infield there. But yeah, I no huge complaints from me on this one.
As Tanner chimes in, he says AL East domination. They have 7 starters. Very impressive AL East. And Mitchell, that's your division, the AL East, or at least it's where the Blue Jays are. Do you have any changes, additions, subtractions you'd like to make to the American League lineup?
Well, I'm actually quite impressed with the fact that there's 7 AL East starters, because all those kids are under 26 years old. They're gonna be good for a while. This is an infield that we could see start again in the future altogether in the All-Star game, which would be awesome. But I like the lineup as well, but I was thinking even a Mike Zunino in the lineup at some point. I know he's not the starter, but I know it's a Tampa Bay coaching staff. I could see them making him a priority to get in there for at least 2 at-bats.
Yeah, definitely. And, a guy like Salvador Perez has been there, done that before. He's going to get his start. He's going to get his at-bat. My guess is, he's a 1 at-bat, maybe 2 innings in the field type guy today. He's probably more than willing to sit out and let some of those other guys take the take the rest of the playing time. So that's kind of a look at the American League. Let's move to the National League real quick. And I am personally more of a National League guy, but I don't like this lineup, at least the bottom of the order, nearly as much as I like the American League. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off for the Padres, playing shortstop. Obviously, great player. Max Muncy's the DH, batting second. Nolan Arenado at third, batting third. Freddie Freeman's the cleanup hitter, playing first base. Nick Castellanos, Jesse Winker, back-to-back Reds, playing right field and left field. JT Realmuto of the Phillies, batting seventh and catching. Brian Reynolds and Adam Frazier, center field and second baseman for the Pirates. So the National League Central was the winner here with 5 players from the Central. Mitch, why don't you start first with the National League? You got any changes you want to make to this National League lineup?
Where did they put Trey Turner? Or is he not even on there?
Trey Turner's not. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a shortstop reserve. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I think that's
okay.
kind of a snub. Now that I think about it, I thought for sure he was on the starting lineup. He's having a tremendous year this year. But all in all, that lineup's not terrible.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, I like the back-to-back Cincinnati Reds. That's pretty cool. Like, you don't really see back-to-back hitters from the same team in the lineup all the time. But that's it. Like, of course, it's a solid lineup. It's the All-Stars, right? But there could definitely be some tweaks moving up and down.
Grant, your thoughts on the National League lineup and team in general?
Yeah, I'm from just outside DC, so obviously I'd like to see Trey Turner in there. But when you got Tatis, there's no chance unless you slide around the positions. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do we only have one catcher for the National League here? Because Posey was the starter, but he's not playing. Then Molina and Narvaez, I believe, they're also not playing, right?
Yeah, Molina said no. I'm looking up who the remainder of the catchers are.
He's starting. He's the only catcher they have.
Yeah.
Or so that could be a problem. Well, you mentioned he's not playing. I don't see another one. I hope maybe one of the guys commenting can see our catchers here. Let me pull it up real quick. So yeah, Yadier Molina said no. I think Narvaez might be playing, actually. It does not list that he's not playing. So I think he is the backup from the Brewers, and that's it. So you're going to see Realmuto and you're going to see Narvaez, and that's it, unless something has changed. Grant, did you see something on Narvaez?
Yeah, I'm on MLB.com, and they have the asterisk by his name, which says he's either inactive due to injury or chosen not to play.
Huh. I'll have to take a look at that and see. But, yeah, so JT Realmuto is going to get plenty of time at catcher. One thing I found interesting is I'm pretty sure the National League has 5 third basemen. I originally wanted to kind of take a look at, my guy Nolan Arenado as the MVP here. Maybe he hits a home run in his former stadium, but he's only going to get one at bat. You got Chris Bryant, you got Eduardo Escobar, you got Manny Machado, and you got Justin Turner, all needing to get time. I mean, those poor guys are how are you even going to get them all at bats? You're going to have to find somebody to play a different spot. But 5 third basemen on the roster seems like a little bit of a flaw here.
I think one of the biggest reasons they have 5 third basemen is that Justin Turner and Manny Machado, they weren't voted in at first, even though you could say they were snubbed. So like you feel like they had to get added. But in doing so, now they've created a logjam, like you mentioned. They have 5 third basemen. So at most they get one at bat, and who knows if it's a defensive night, all of them might not even get the chance to hit.
Yeah. I mean, if you want any chance, like I said, of my guy Arenado winning that MVP, he's going to have to hit a home run in the first inning. If not, he's probably not going to get another opportunity there. So that's kind of a look at the NL and the AL lineup. Let's go ahead and talk about tonight's game. We do have American League minus 105, National League minus 115. Now that's fluctuated, depending on what book you use, where you're looking, when you're looking. Let's give our pick for tonight's game. I got a couple other prop bets that I'd like to throw at you guys here in a little bit later. But let's start with the game in general. Grant, National League as a small favorite or American League as underdog?
For me personally, I have seen the American League as the underdog the entire way, and I have pretty much always felt that they are going to win this game, regardless of what the odds say. I think that the All-Star game it's very much built around boom or bust type
Yeah.
mentality because it's a one-off. So, the team that can get the hottest, do the best on one day, they win. And I feel like the American League, with the roster they have, especially the starters, even though the National League is probably better top to bottom and in terms of all around every aspect of the game, I think the American League has that ability where they can just reach a higher level if they're on their game. And since it is a one-off, I would take them for this one.
Mitchell, where do you got? American League, National League in this one?
Yeah, I'm all over the American League as well. I think that lineup is going to do some damage in the first 3 innings, and then from there on out, they have some pretty good reserves. I mean, both teams both do, but they got some super good reserves like Nelson Cruz. They got Cedric Mullins, Joey Gallo. Those are some big power bats off the bench. And I also kind of like the value too. Like underdog, I'll definitely take that. If they're the favorite, I'd probably take that.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. The value of the American League at the minus 105. I'm going to go homer pick here, and I'm going to go National League at minus 115. Now, some places you might be able to grab at 110. Obviously, if you're shopping around, you might be able to do it. I like the back end of that bullpen a little bit more from the National League, to be honest with you. And if the game stays close, a tie game or whatever late in the game, I have a little more faith in the National League bullpen than I do American League bullpen. I think National League might be able to scrap a run across late. Although it's hard to pick bullpens because there are a ton of guys in both leagues that just mow guys down. But I am going to go with the National League in this one. So looks like it's 2-1 AL over NL. Let's go with the total of tonight's game. And Mitch, I'm going to let you start first here. I actually think we might all be in agreement here, but tonight's total is 11 runs. Now, before we start, chiming in about how great the bullpen is, we are talking about the best hitters on the planet here. But we going over under 11 runs tonight in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I like the under 11 runs just because of the pitching. Like coming out of both bullpens. I mean, in the NL, you got Craig Kimbrell, you got who else you got? You got Josh Hader, you got Alex Reyes. Those are some like perennial relievers, some guys that have sub-2 ERAs. And then coming out of the American League, you got Aroldis Chapman, Ryan Presley, Liam Hendricks. I mean, it's gonna be tough to score runs for anybody. Even these guys can't score runs off any of these closers in actual gameplay. So I like the under 11. I think it'll be like a 5-4, 5-3 type of game.
Yeah. Grant, where are you going? Over under 11 runs?
I'm going under 2. And just to bring it back, since we were talking about the National League, think about this. We're not going to see Jacob deGrom. We're not going to see Kevin Guzman. We're not going to see Yu Darvish, and it doesn't matter. You've got German Marquez, Trevor Rogers, Zach Wheeler, Walker Buehler, who got late added. I don't know how he wasn't voted in originally, but whatever. Like the pitching talent here is just overwhelming. So even in an All-Star game, you got to think somebody's going to hit a home run because when you got people like Vladdy, Shohei, Tatis, like somebody's going to hit a home run. And that's probably going to make the difference in the game. But I don't think we're in for a run festival. Like, I think it's going to be somewhere in that same neighborhood, 5-3, 5-4, and we stay under.
Yeah, and you mentioned, somebody's going to hit a home run, especially when the thought of a lot of these guys coming up here is this is a show, and I'm trying to hit this ball as far as I can. Like, they're not thinking about spraying a base hit in most scenarios here. They're getting up 2 outs, nobody on, and they have one goal in mind. I mean, that's to hit a home run. So I think you'll see a lot of strikeouts, and I think you'll see a home run or two with the thought in mind, hey, I'm going to look to hit a home run, and that's what this game's all about. I'm going to go under as well. I've liked it from the beginning, 11 runs. You guys mentioned the 5-4, 5-3. I'm looking at more like 4-3, 4-2. But regardless, I think we all like the under, and I like it quite a bit. I mean, I don't see a run fest, although the game is in Colorado, and if any stadium's going to be conducive to runs, it's going to be Denver, Coors Field there. So, but I will stick with the under there. Any other thoughts on the total before we move on here, guys?
Yeah, one more thing I just want to throw in.
Yeah.
13 of the last 14 All-Star games went under this total. So history's on the side of the under.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they've bumped up 11 because of Coors Field, but they obviously, are not taking into account you literally have the best pitchers in the world. This isn't the Colorado pitching staff that we're talking about here. So, all right, I'm going to throw a few of these at you, and you're not going to be super prepared for these, so it's going to be a little bit on the spot here. First prop bet I'm going to throw at you, and Grant, I'll have you go first on this one. Will a home run derby contestant hit a home run in tonight's game? Underdog at yes at plus 175. Favorite at no, minus 220. Grant, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so I'm looking at this one, and my immediate instinct is no. If you look at the matchup of the starting pitchers, statistically, at least Shohei Ohtani performed worse of the two during the season. And he might be tired a little bit because he was in the home run derby last night. So you look to the National League side of things, and nobody in their starting lineup was in the home run derby last night. So that could have been a great chance to capitalize early. I didn't actually know this until earlier this morning, but Shohei Ohtani has a 9-point-something ERA in the first inning of across this season. So for a guy who's coming in tired and lacks control to start games, it would be a great opportunity. But no representatives in the home run derby, like I said. So I'm gonna take no here.
Mitchell, you got thoughts here? Well, I mean, so you've got a few guys there. You got Gallo in the American League. You've got Soto in the National League. Trey Turner didn't even make the team. Of course, Ohtani. So you got a few options there. But will a home run derby contestant hit a home run? Yes or no, Mitchell?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with no as well, just because the first 3 innings, the only chances are Ohtani and Salvador Perez, and I don't think either of those guys are gonna hit it out. So I'm gonna have to go with a no. I mean, it's gonna be tough. If Pete Alonso was in there though, then I'd be clicking a yes.
Yeah, and he'd be swinging for the fences. That was a heck of a performance last night from Alonso. Second one is kind of a weird one. I tried to find a few odd ones that maybe I'd get you guys to bite on. Will there be a triple? Now, keep in mind, you've got a big ballpark. Well, you've got a spacious ballpark with, some speed on the bases. Will there be a triple? Are either one of you going to bite at this one? Yes is the underdog. All you need is one triple here. Or no is the favorite at minus 130. Mitchell, if you had to bet right now, you going yes or no?
Yeah, I can't bite. I have to go with the no. That's just so rare. And there's not you look up and down the lineup. It's not like there's an insane amount of speed. Like Vladdy Jr. is not hitting a triple, but you got Tatis, you've got Trey Turner. Those are probably a couple of the guys I could see hitting a triple. But yeah, that's too niche for me.
Yeah, Grant, you like it or not?
I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason besides triples don't really happen. So I'm not going to look at the matchup or the venue or anything like that. You usually don't see a triple, so then I don't see one tonight. Simple as that.
They're trying. Yeah, Sportsbook's trying to get you to bite. One more they're trying to get you to bite on here is this is another one. Will there be an out at third base? I mean, you gotta put some money on the plus 250 here, right? I mean, an out at third base could mean it's a tag up fly ball where he throws him out at third. He could have first and second, nobody out, and a ground ball to third. I mean, I'm going yes on this one at plus 250. Like if I'm betting anything here, there's absolutely no way I'm going the no at minus 320. I think there's way too much variance in the game. Would either one of you be interested in the yes at plus 250 out at third base? Grant, I'll let you go first here.
I'll tell you what, I'm a lot more interested in the yes than the no. I'd bet nothing before I'd bet the no, because that's ridiculous. Who wants to bet minus 300 for something that at the end of the day is kind of a 50-50? Like, you don't really know. Anything could happen. So I'd be willing to put down a lower amount on the plus 250. But you mentioned that everybody's going to be swinging for the fences. It's very possible that one of those swings ends up as a double. A guy gets caught trying to get to third, or maybe he went too far, turns back to go back to third. So I'd rather take the yes than the no.
Yeah. What about you, Mitchell? You got any thoughts here?
Yeah, I'd go with the yes as well. There's some speed too, so there's gonna be some aggressive base runners, and I think I actually might even take that bet. I kind of like it. Like, I think there will be an out at third this year, especially with all the young guys.
Yeah. I mean, like Grant said, like he's trying for the triple, probably just because it's the All-Star game. I mean, they care, but not give the thought of caring as they would in a playoff game or late in the season, and trying to extend it to third and get thrown out. So I like it. I will probably put some money on that one at plus 250. So we had a question in from Josh: is Kimbrel or Hader the closer for the National League? I don't know as if Dave Roberts has named a closer per se. I don't know as if we'll know. Do you guys know this for sure? They got a bunch of closers. I mean, Alex Reyes is on the roster as well. Mark Melancon. I don't think they've named a closer. Have you guys heard?
I have not.
No.
Yeah. I don't know as if, and that many times you don't know. Like, you wait until it played out and see which relievers they use. So I have not heard, Josh. Thanks for the question in there. All right, last thing I wanted to get to is the All-Star Game MVP. Now, as a degenerate bettor, this is something you got to throw a little bit of money down on. You got to find, a couple dollars and throw it down here and obviously root for the best for your guy. I listed the top like 7 or 8 here. Ohtani plus 300, Tatis 350, Vlad Jr. 500, Aaron Judge 600, Nolan Arenado 700, Freddie Freeman 750, Juan Soto 800. Do any of those guys intrigue you? And if not, who does intrigue you? Grant, let's have you go first.
Do any of them intrigue me? Shohei Ohtani, Fernando Tatis, and Vladdy surely intrigue me. Just because they're the guys that, if you think about the MVP, right, it's something that's there to be won. Everyone has an equal chance at it. So you favor the guys with the most talent, and those 3 obviously have it. If I had to pick one out of those, then I would go with Tatis. I don't think Shohei lasts too long, and Vladdy, he didn't participate in the home run derby, so I think he might be more just going through the motions here. Obviously, Tatis didn't either, but he's had injury problems, so we can give him a pass there. But Tatis, I don't think it bothers him that Ohtani is getting all the praise and acclaim that he has been. But I still think he'd like to view himself maybe as the face of baseball or the future face of baseball. So I think that he would want to. He's one of those players that would want to go above and beyond. Not only swinging for the fences, but maybe I'm going to try to steal a base too. Maybe I'm going to try to make a leaping catch where I can. So I'll go Tatis.
Yeah. What about you, Mitchell? You got any guys there you would like?
Honestly, on that list, probably only Ohtani for me, just because of the chances that he's getting. Like, he'll be pitching 2 innings, he'll get 2 at bats. He's got so much opportunity to make something happen. But honestly, like I was looking at Rafael Devers just because of the hitters ahead of him in the lineup. Like, I could see Vladdy getting on base. I could see Ohtani getting on base for him. We're talking about a guy that has a 282 average, 22 bombs. I could see him going 2 for 2 with like 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. I mean, yeah, I like his value, and especially with him not being on the list, I'm sure his odds are just even better.
Yeah, so you can get Devers at plus 1,500, 15-1 odds there. So I do like that. I'm gonna throw one even a little bit more off the cuff at you and see your guys' thoughts here. I'm gonna throw a few dollars down on JT Realmuto at plus 2,000. And we mentioned the reason why earlier. Like, he could get essentially 3 at-bats, because as a catcher, like, you don't want to take out your starting catcher early, in case somebody goes down or whatever. I think he could get as many as 3 at-bats. Let's say he drives in 2 runs late in the game or even middle of the game. He's plus 2,000. I'm going to throw a few dollars down on him, because we know really the MVP is going to be a guy that gets multiple hits or drives in the big runs. So I'm going to go plus 2,000 there. And then just because he's my guy, I think Nolan Arenado at 700, I'm just going to pray that he hits a home run and throw my money away there. So those are my 2 bets. What do you, Realmuto? Am I off the wall here with Realmuto?
No, that's a great bet. And a lot of time prop bets, regardless of sport, regardless of what type of game it is, if it's an all-star game, if it's game 7, it doesn't matter. You look for players who have opportunities. And, if we were right, Realmuto's the only catcher on the National League. And if we're wrong, so what? There's only one other guy. So he's guaranteed to probably see the most action of any player tonight. So I think that's very smart, especially with the odds that he's been given.
And to be honest, I may go with, if I can find Mike Zunino, because he's the only backup catcher. So he's the second catcher behind Salvador Perez. And again, I think I just said I don't know if you'll take out the starter, but I think the opposite could happen there, where they let Zunino play a little bit more and he gets a couple at bats to the American League, and his odds are going to be even higher. I mean, they're going to be like 3,000, a third. So I may go with an all catchers prop bet tonight. Throw a few dollars down on all the catchers and see what happens there. But Mitchell, did you have any final thoughts on the MVP of tonight's game?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off your comments, Mitchell. Like, I think opportunity. Like when I look at fantasy football, like I'm looking for a running back that gets 30 carries. So like in this, why would I not look for a hitter that's getting 3 at bats or more? Like I like the opportunity to. I think with the at bats will come at least a hit. Real Muto's good for that. He has a pretty good average this year, so I like that bet. It's a little sneaky one.
Yeah.
One more name I would throw in.
Go ahead.
One more name I would throw in if I could there. I think Aaron Judge could be a sneaky pick. Now, I don't love his odds because I don't think he should be favored over some of these other players. But if there's one guy we know just has a bunch of swag about him, and he can brush aside his haters, and he wants to go out and put on a show, kind of like we saw Pete Alonso do in the Derby. It's Aaron Judge, and I think we saw that with him doing this to the Astros right before we headed into the break. So I would put him in as my underdog, if you can call him that, at plus 600.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. And, he's another guy that's going to swing for the fences. There's absolutely no doubt when Aaron Judge comes up, he is going to swing for the fences. So, he might get a Max Scherzer fastball in the first inning. And, he hits a 2-run home run in the first inning. He's the MVP until somebody takes over. I mean, and I always like that too. Somebody gets up early, gets an opportunity to hit one early. I think like they're the favorite, because you're just probably not. You're going to have a hard time finding a pitcher winning the MVP tonight. I mean, I guess you could. You could get Ohtani with 2 or 3 innings, or maybe a reliever comes in and strikes out the side. But after that, I just don't know. So I'm going to stay away from the pitchers. One more thought here. Tanner has a question for us, and maybe you guys can touch on this. Thoughts on the Astros all backing out? Either one of you guys want to talk about the Astros?
I didn't even know that. That's weird. I don't know why they would do that.
I'll tell you why they're
Grant,
doing it. Because they're backing out because they're a bunch of spineless cowards. Now, one of them has an excuse. His wife, I don't know if she's going into labor, or she's pregnant, or she just had a child. Something involving motherhood. But the other guys, in injury. You were just playing a 3-game series with the Yankees at home. The Yankees won 2 of those, and especially, why am I blanking on the name? Altuve. I don't know why that took me so long. Altuve hit the walk-off in that series, and now all of a sudden he's injured. Like, give me a break. They're not going to this All-Star game because they could be the first players ever hit by a pitch in an All-Star game. I don't buy that they like being villains. I think they liked being the sneaky little kid who was cheating on his test in the back of the classroom, and all of a sudden they got found out, and now they're afraid to show their face to everybody else in the baseball world. I think Altuve walks into a locker room with Aaron Judge next to him. I think he's peeing his pants. I think that's why they're not in the All-Star game.
I totally agree with you. I think they're scared. They're gutless, and and not only would they get hit by a pitch in the All-Star game, they're going to get booed. And I know guys get booed, like, who are Rockies fans might boo, like a couple of the Dodgers or Giants or Pirates or Padres, excuse me. Because sometimes you see the rivalry where they boo. Like, they're legitimately going to get booed in an All-Star game, and they just don't want it. So I think that starts with the leader of the Astros, if I'm being completely honest, and that's the manager. But that's another story. We can get to that a little bit later. We are about out of time here. Grant and Mitchell, I'll start. Mitchell, any final thoughts on tonight's All-Star game?
Bet Rafael Devers for MVP. I like that pick.
You like it. You like it.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. That's your parting shot. Grant,
Yeah.
parting shot for tonight's All-Star game.
Well, I'll back my guy up here. Bet on a Toronto Blue Jay. How about that?
There you go.
I like that.
There you go. I'm sure. Yeah, Mitchell will like that. And I'm going to go JT Realmuto as the All-Star game MVP. I don't know why. I told you why. I think he's going to get 3 at-bats. And to be honest, that's enough for me to throw a few dollars down. I'm not telling you to empty out on the MVP. Never do that. But if you've got a little bit to throw down, not the catcher. Why not the catcher and a guy that 3 at-bats? All right. That is the Sports 2.0 show, All-Star Game Edition. Grant, enjoy the game tonight. Mitchell, have fun. Cheer on those Blue Jays. Thanks for joining me today, guys. All right, that is the Sports 2.0 show. That is the All-Star Game Edition. I'm Rodney Knuppel with Grant Mitchell and Mitchell Martin. We'll see you guys later. Make sure you stay tuned to all the shows throughout the week. Like us on YouTube. Over 600. To the moon we go. It's the Sports 2.0 Network.